See you in 30 seconds. What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the episode 5 of the Council of Comics live podcast. We got Cliff, we got Green Shirt Guy. Let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to Madness. Yeah. Rogue Nation 845. Bro.
What is good? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Chilling.
Yeah. Good. Everybody out there that's watching, thank you for watching. If you're either watching on Facebook, you're probably watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button below so you can get us when we go live. We usually go live on Sundays and Mondays, and then scattered edited videos throughout the week. We're also on TikTok and we're also on Instagram. Just look for the Council of Comics. And tonight we are continuing our series of the MCU where we're talking about Phase 3, Part 1. We will be going over Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, and the Black Panther. And we're going to talk about rumors about a movie getting a sequel. What's good, guys? How's been your week in the comic nerdom world?
Exhausting. I just finished rewatching Phase 3 today. I watched Black Panther and I watched Thor Ragnarok and the end of one of the other ones. I can't remember which. The only one I didn't watch is the Spider-Man one because it wasn't on Disney Plus and I had to get up and get it out of my DVD. So I was like, nah, I'm not watching it.
Spider-Man Homecoming is actually a really good movie.
It's really good, but I was like, I'm being lazy today.
Especially that we'll talk about it later, but that one scene where he goes in to meet the dad.
Yes. Well, for me, the best scene in the whole movie is when they're getting driven to the prom.
Yeah.
And they have that conversation in the car where they both know what's going on, but she has no clue.
Yeah. That's pretty dope. All right, so let's start off. Let's give everybody what they came for. Let me get over here to this screen. Oh my God. Rumor has it, and it's a hot rumor, that Keanu Reeves is coming back for part 2 of Constantine. My boy, Harmonic Fox, hit me up with this. He said, have you seen this? And I thought it was like some thing that was, how people usually do. But no, it's really being spoken about right now. Warner Brothers hasn't commented on it. But I believe like comingsoon.net and some other sources have stated that the new rumors have him coming back, have the whole cast coming back. And this is a possible experiment to have Keanu as John Constantine lead the next generation of the DCEU.
What do you feel? I mean, apparently. Sorry, go ahead, Cliff. I'm sorry.
Apparently, it's been greenlit. J.J. Abrams is behind it.
Yep.
And as far as what it will bring about, it could possibly bring about the Justice League Dark.
Yeah. Because there was already supposed to be a Justice League Dark project.
Yes.
That fell through.
Which is a shame. Everything that fell through had amazing people behind it.
What?
Yeah. I think it fell through for the fact that they didn't know if they were going to continue with Keanu or go a new route. And they literally held out to the last moment to figure it out. Finally, Keanu was like, yeah, let's do it.
It just upsets me for Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan has been giving us as much Constantine as he can possibly give us for the last 10 years.
And he was the most comic accurate, I think.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
You know what I mean? But hey, maybe in this multiverse, how everything does, I think Keanu will be down for it.
Are they going to let Keanu smoke?
Yes. Oh, or will he? Will he continue to smoke
Yeah,
though?
right? Or are they gonna say it's period smoking?
Like
You know?
maybe he stopped smoking because he didn't want to go through that again, or he has
I don't
changed.
know. It's
I
part of
don't
the
know
character.
either.
I think it's stupid if they get rid of it, but I was just
Yeah.
looking at the cast though. Think about this: if everybody truly is back, we got a Shia LaBeouf sighting.
Imagine that. Keanu would be the guy to give Shia a chance. If
I think
anybody's gonna
John
give him a chance, it's
Bernthal would be the
Keanu.
guy to give Shia a chance, but different properties.
Listen, Shia LaBeouf is one of my favorite actors. Forget
Good
like his
actor. He's a
craziness
nut
and
job.
what-
But yeah.
like his movies, like he draws you in when you watch his movies. Like his acting. Like you ever saw? Did you see the movie about his real life? It's a good boy
which one?
or something like that.
Oh, the
No.
Amazon one. Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh, that movie was amazing. That was amazing. But yeah, so this would put the DCEU on a track where they would have a mega star heading their stuff, which kind of smacks the Rock in the face, because the Rock really wants to be that Iron Man of the DCEU.
Good
But
luck.
And he could be, because his movie is the next on track, and he's only been publicizing this movie since 2009.
will Henry Cavill appear? Will he?
You know what? Probably not, but I really hope so. I think that'd be great.
I think that will be the definitive answer for whether Henry Cavill comes back or not, is if he shows up in this movie.
I would love it. I would love it.
If he shows up, that means he's coming back. If he doesn't show
Yeah,
up,
but why would
it's dead.
Superman need to be in that?
Because, first of all, you don't have someone as powerful as that running around killing villains however he feels like. And then, like, what? Superman's not going to be like, I've got my eye on you?
Yeah, I hear that, but like, I mean, how often does Superman show up in Constantine's book? Not like almost never.
No, not Constantine.
So that-
We're talking about Black Adam.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking Constantine. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Never mind.
No, but Black Adam is in the conversation now.
Right.
Right.
Black Adam, because The Rock really wants to be the front liner for the DCU. He very well could be. That movie hasn't come out yet. We got to reserve judgment.
Agreed, but I'm not. That's going to be one of those. I watch that when it comes out, on streaming or at Redbox. To be honest with you, I have little to no interest.
I can't believe people have no interest. Black Adam.
It's going to be. Look, hey, The Rock is wearing a suit because The Rock can't. I like The Rock and I've loved him for years, but he plays the same fucking character in every movie he's in. He has little range, and I enjoy the movies he's in. Don't get me wrong; he's a good action star, but he plays The Rock as this character in this movie.
But look, why didn't he put the ears on Black Adam?
Black Adam doesn't always have the ears, by the way.
But still, if you added the ears, maybe some little. And I know it seems like a small thing, but it kind of takes it away from The Rock. You know what I mean? And is he gonna have an accent in this movie?
No,
hasn't seen. Or we haven't seen one.
Like, we know he has an accent. Black Adam has an accent. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't like the wishy-washiness of these celebrities who say they love the character, they do all this, but little things like that, like not doing the accent for Black Adam. Now he might do it, we haven't seen it yet. But from what I've seen so far, there's no accent. The only accent
he might not do one in the present, but he may do it in the past.
But why wouldn't he do it immediately?
I don't know. Black Adam is weird. Oh, Larry joined us. Hey, Larry.
Larry.
Black Adam.
Larry, if you want to come in, man, we'll put a little special guest. I'll send you the link. Let me know. What were you saying, Cliff?
Black Adam's complicated. And by the way, I don't think Black Adam has an accent. Like, he could.
How could he not have an accent?
Because he's more than one person, and he's got multiple deities in his head when he transforms. Just like Mary and Billy and everybody who says Shazam.
All right, you know a lot more about Black Adam than I do.
Right, but I'm saying, I'm
thinking about Kandahar though.
I know it's easy to read Black Adam, particularly at his height, which was the 52, which was a fantastic series that people should we should be praising that series more. I don't think people appreciate how amazing it is. They're full of shit actors that say they're a fan, but they really aren't. I mean, Larry, I feel like you're right, but I also feel like when it comes to Black Adam, The Rock is genuinely a fan. You know? Now, can he do it right is a different story, but I do believe he's genuinely a fan. I have seen this man rattle shit off about comic books that I'm like, okay, you're reading your comic books, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just Black Adam though. Remember, they got the Justice Society. That's huge. That Justice Society is a huge team in DC.
It is, but not when you have 4 people.
Yeah, but what if it's 4 people that's available? You know what I mean? What if there are many members of the Justice Society?
Right. These are the ones that are just on call right now. These are the ones
that didn't have shit to do today.
By the way, I hate to keep segueing, but I do want to segue into one thing that's really nice. When I was at Terrificon and Tim Daly was talking about becoming, Superman, and how he was like, well, I auditioned and I got the role for, the animated series. He had not been a Superman fan, but now that he has actually played the character, given him a voice, shared a personality with him, there's Superman memorabilia in his home. There's a whole section. And I want you to know, even Christopher Reeve only had one piece of Superman memorabilia in the house. That was it. And it was Caped Wonder made a photo redesign of him flying with the flag. He loved it. That was a gift to him. That's the one you could see in the background in some of his interviews. But there's no other Superman memorabilia there. But if you see some recent interviews with Tim Daly, you will see there's a whole wall of Superman stuff behind him. And he said that, he's really come a long way and what Superman's voice means, and how he doesn't really love the Injustice games because he doesn't love, bad Superman or Superman going crazy, Superman going mad, right? He's like, I feel like Superman is bigger than all of that all the time. And so I think that's great. So that is my sidetrack on somebody who wasn't a fan, but became one.
Okay. All right. So overall, we're excited for this?
Constantine or Black Adam?
Constantine.
Constantine, I'm down for. I like the first.
Yeah, I am not down for Constantine, and I'm like, I am all about Black Adam. Let's see it, and because I've been hearing about it since 2009. Give me the movie.
But see, what would be amazing is that both movies are successful, and these two end up meeting in a film down the line.
I would enjoy
that. Would be amazing.
I would enjoy that. Do you know what I think would make an excellent Justice League Dark movie to bring everyone together? The Justice League versus Eclipso. But I don't know if you can afford that kind of movie. But I think it would be brilliant, right? Because you have the Justice League Dark rallying together to battle Eclipso, and you got to give them somebody. So maybe Shazam will be among the heroes in the film, but everybody else is eclipsed. Everybody else is under Eclipso's control. And just do all the crazy stuff, like eclipse Superman hiding in a volcano, to stay away from the sunlight so he remains eclipsed. I think that would be great. I think it would look epic. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And then Shazam fighting Superman and yelling for the lightning bolts to try and get Superman into the sunlight. I mean, that would be an epic film, but the budget would have to be insane because it would be like the Avengers. You got to have everybody in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, but the Avengers prove that it can be done.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Speaking of which, what a great segue there. Let's get into what we came here to talk about. We came here to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 3, Part 1. Now, what Part 1 is, Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, and the phenomenal Black Panther. So let's begin.
Are there a better series of if you think about break down each character. Is there a better series of movies than the Captain America ones?
No,
None of them are dunce.
no. Captain America ones are superior.
Yeah.
They are
And
superior.
although Winter Soldier is my favorite, Civil War actually is like better on the rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Civil War. You know, we've got Thunderbolt Ross showing up, being like, "Do you know where Thor is? Do you know where the Hulk is? Can you people take responsibility for your actions?"
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a bad idea. You know what I mean? But Cap had a point. Like, okay, I understand that, but if we give them the power, when we need to go somewhere, they're gonna say we can't go there.
Right.
You know what I
Or
mean?
go somewhere we don't think is right to go to.
Right. And it was basically a story of Tony not wanting to take a real responsibility and taking a fake way out of a responsibility.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's a story of a guy avenging his dead family, really, in Zemo.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Zemo makes a compelling
Zemo's
villain.
amazing in this movie. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains anyway, but he's great in this movie.
A lot of people did not appreciate this version of Zemo, which I thought was crazy because I was like, it's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
And I continue to enjoy what they're doing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zemo was amazing. I mean, the real story was Cap versus Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what I
Ultimately,
mean?
yes.
And when they reached that scene where Zemo brought them all over to the pit or whatever, and then he played the video of as soon as he played the video, I went back and looked at Cap's face. I was like, he knows where this is going.
Well, he knew.
He knew exactly where this was going. He knew that Bucky did that. He knew that and he didn't tell Tony. And that's effed up.
Well,
especially when he killed his mother. So when he said, "Kill my mother," I was like, "Go!" I was like, "I love Cap, but go, Tony, get your blows in, get him in."
It's tough though, because I mean, like, think about it. If you knew something horrific, I'm just used to you, Cliff, because I'm looking at your face right now. If you knew something horrific had happened to Cliff, and another of your friends was the person who did it, but it happened years ago when you weren't involved, you were frozen in ice. And no good's gonna come from it. Would you still tell him?
I
don't think you can make a good decision either way. I think no matter what you do, bad things are gonna happen.
But think about it.
But I can see what you're saying.
Say at one point when Cap's already separated with him, he's got Bucky with him, and they're miles apart. You might want to send a message like, "Okay,
thank you, Kamaria.
This is what is happening." You know what I mean? Instead of it happening like they're face to face, like he's gonna try to murder him. At least if he's miles away, he can like get angry and trash his own little thing, but he's not gonna like go full out. It's just, what does Mario say? Protect Cliff at all costs.
Well, doesn't he say something to him right after they watch the video? Like, did you know? And he didn't tell him then.
No, he says, "Did you know?" And he goes, I suspected. So,
okay, that's right. But then in the letter at the end, he says he knew.
But no, I don't think.
No, he never says he knew. He says he suspected.
No, he does at the end. He basically says he knew, and it was and I realized that I shouldn't have made the decision I made.
Boom. Yeah, you're right.
Right, but I still think that is based on I kind of knew. Right? Like, I had enough information that I suspected it, and I could have told you that I suspected it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't because you're both my boys, and what am I gonna do? He's my OG boy. You my new G boy. Like, you know, like,
it's tough. It's tough, man.
You're like, they're the two most important people in his life that are living, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, think of his mental status that he just lost Peggy. They just buried Peggy right at the beginning of the film. So
I'm not gonna lie. In that scene, I was looking to see if they had the actor that plays him when he's older hidden somewhere.
Yeah,
that
I
couldn't
look
find
for
it.
that too.
I couldn't
every
find
time
him,
I
but
watch it. Yeah, I look for that too.
He is the actor that plays him when he's older.
right. But if they
No.
had somebody with like a mask on pretending to be him at the funeral in the
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
Let me tell you, I stand ferociously that he lived in a separate timeline. Stand ferociously, because otherwise it is the most despicable and disgraceful Captain America story ever. You're gonna tell me he hung out with Peggy and let every terrible thing unfold with because of that? Hell no. I want a what if that shows us our Cap living with Peggy, flying into Russia, rescuing Bucky, pulling him out of the Winter Soldier program, and just kicking ass for the next
But it would.
years.
You're right though. It would be an alternate timeline.
It would
well, not necessarily because if
once you when you bring back the stones, see there, that's the problem though, isn't it?
he has to put them back right where they are. So in my this is just if we're
Go ahead,
if we're having this conversation, it's time cop. You just can never be near your other self. And since he already lived that other life, he knows where he's going to be at any given time. And now he's just Steve Rogers living in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
So now he's going to be
Kamara says she's here for that.
Yeah, I'm not here for it. I'm here for Avengers. I'm here for the
No,
of
but
Captain Peggy. The
who's
Avengers
to say though? Who's to say that he returned all the stones? Like, say he kept one of the stones and then went to Peggy.
Oh,
You feel
right.
me?
And then when he was done,
Well, I suppose he could have kept the
Yeah.
time stone and messed around, but
Because then that would be an alternate timeline if he kept one of the stones until he was done with Peggy. Because then he can return once the stone is back. And that's how he shows up here. Which they need to make this movie. I don't know what to say. I need to see the movie of Captain America returning all the Infinity Stones.
just to see
He's
Red
got
Skull's
Mjolnir. He's got Mjolnir with him. It's
Yeah.
got to be phenomenal. The things when he meets Red Skull.
I think it'd be more interesting if you see him in the background of stuff in the coming movies, just alternate stuff like that. Kind of like remember if you watch Lost, occasionally you see a character walk by in the background while in someone else's story, just to prove that everything was kind of connected. I think that would be interesting. But
I think that would.
I mean, think of the budget for a Captain America story like that.
I think it would be great in a Kang Dynasty movie.
Yeah, I could see that. That I could see.
Because I insist that to battle Kang, we need multiple teams in multiple eras. And I think that'd be great. And if you got a Cap in each era, I think that would be fantastic. And it's like, why are you here? And it's like, Cap, there's a multiverse. It's complicated. Why am I returning these stones? Cap, we need you. Just shut up. Go.
Right.
Kamara says, wouldn't the TVA get involved at that
But
point?
because the TVA is all messed up now, because now there is a multiverse, so there's a multiverse of TVA members with different agendas.
So beloved Captain America or not, you just can't go around screwing with the timeline.
That's right. Look at Larry, give us another a 6-part show, just Cap with the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. All right. So another part of this great movie, this is the first appearance of Black Panther, T'Challa.
Yes.
Which I think had a phenomenal entrance into the MCU. Like, you see him in the beginning when they're at the buildings, T'Challa, but by that time, marketing and everything, everybody knows he's Black Panther.
Yeah.
But when he shows up, well, first of all, he goes through a chase scene trying to get after Bucky. Like, he's insistent, like, I'm going to kill your friend. What did he say to him in the car? He's like, how long do you think you can keep him from me? And you believed it. You were like, this dude is too real. And then that chase scene when he's on the bike, he's going after him, and Cap's like, who the hell is this guy? Blah, blah, blah. And I love when Rhodey just lands in the middle of all of them, like, all right, chill. And
that was crazy too in that chase scene. If you watch, they're all running down that tunnel with all the cars, right? And they're all running at speed. Like we see in Endgame where Cap and Black Panther are doing this, but Bucky's just as fast as them apparently, which to me was weird because I'm going, I thought it was really just your arm, but
Bucky's
whatever.
Same thing Cap got.
Oh, did he get the serum too? Okay, maybe I'm thinking all the way. But yeah, he's
formula.
Right.
And also in this film,
Larry says he was cooler in this movie than he was in his solo movie.
That's debatable. That's debatable. I can see why you would say that.
Well, he was more aggro in this movie, and also he has that wonderful showdown with Baron Zemo.
Yes.
After he witnesses what goes on with Cap
Yes.
and Bucky,
Yes.
and he's
Yes.
like, "Wait a second, I don't want to turn into them. I'm going to do better than this, and I'm taking you in." And I think that's why we have a more mellow T'Challa when we get to Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that whole scene where he's like, basically, you don't get to kill yourself. As much as you think this is over, no, that's not how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
I'm not going to kill you because that doesn't make me any better.
Right.
And we have this amazing fight scene, which was the first time actually in the films, besides the Avengers, that we've seen groups of heroes going at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, because in the trailers, they omitted things like Spider-Man and certain things. So when you saw them all running, certain ones were
Giant
omitted.
Man.
Yeah. So when you saw it, you were like, "Oh, this is amazing right here." When Cap's like, "We fight."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then just seeing all the battles, and then when Cap is like, "Where you from, kid?" and he's like, "Queens." He's like, "Brooklyn."
Yep.
Crazy. And then how Spider-Man helped with Ant-Man. He's like, "You guys seen that movie back in the days, Empire Strikes Back?" And Brody's like, "Jesus, Tony, how old is this kid?" Yo, it's great.
And I love how he always goes, "That really old movie?" And everyone's like, "What is wrong with you?"
Right.
Tom Holland also makes his first appearance as Spider-Man. Yep. This was at a time where Amazing Spider-Man 2 had come out, I think like a year ago, or maybe 2 years or something like that.
I think it was 2 years.
And Sony were, emails got leaked and things going crazy. And
the best thing that came out of the Sony emails being leaked was the emails about discussing the use of Spider-Man in the MCU. That was phenomenal.
Yeah,
because you couldn't have asked for better. The fan salivation that took place was like, "Oh man, we have to do it. People want this. They're crazy."
Yeah. But the fact that Sony thought they were holding the cards, and then when those emails leaked, Kevin Feige came in like, all right, how you want to do this now? We want to do this a little different.
Right. So you're giving us Spider-Man. This is how much we're going to give you.
So then Marvel acquires the rights.
No. Let's be honest. Sony got an excellent, lucrative deal out of it because Sony gets paid to film the Spider-Man film. That's Sony Studios that makes stuff. Don't think that Sony didn't walk away with an amazing, pun intended, deal here.
Yes. Well, of course. Like they had no direction for the movies. They did great with the first three, but then they kind of sputtered with the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. We did get a great Andrew Garfield, but Sony then eventually had Marvel take over the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland, and decided to introduce him in Civil War. And we get to see Aunt May, Marissa Tomei. Great scene when Tony's in there, and he's like kind of flirting with Marissa Tomei, but also
his walnut date left those. Walnut date.
That
one was pretty good.
When he spit it out,
that's right. Put it in the trash.
It's classic. So then fast forward to the end of the movie, which is my favorite scene in the movie, is when they're all fighting Iron Man, Cap, and Winter Soldier, and then Cap and Iron Man are going at it, and Cap has a choice to kill Iron Man or just shut him down, and he smashes the shield into his thing, shutting him down, and just walks away. When Tony's like in a thing where he just wants to kill everybody, and Tony held his own against two super soldiers, held his own, and with a broken guidance system and all that other stuff, he held his own.
He was so mad too. He's like, "That's not your shield. My father made that shield."
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
This was a brutal movie. When you
go back, and Cap kind of gives him an FU when he throws the shield at him. He's like, "All right, here, yours.
Take it."
Oh, and you forget Rhodey gets taken out too by Vision.
Oh, right, he gets paralyzed.
And how about Falcon comes up like, "I'm sorry," he just boom. Doesn't kill him, he's like boom.
Like, sorry, bro, that's not how this is working.
Yep.
All right, so it ends with Captain America, Steve Rogers sending Tony a tape or something, telling him
That's a letter. It's a letter.
a letter telling him, like, sorry everything worked out the way it was, blah blah
Here's the
blah.
flip phone.
I wish you the best, but basically says, if you ever need me, you can this is how you can find me, and gives him like a little track phone or something like that he can use to call him.
It's a flip phone.
Yeah. So Cap then goes and frees everybody in the raft that was part of his team because they got arrested at the end, and then and then that's the end. The end credit scenes. Do we remember?
It's Tony Stank with with Stanley as the FedEx driver.
Yep.
There was no other one.
That was the final one. The one before that was it's Cap and T'Challa. It's basically saying, oh yeah, as long as he said something along the lines of as long as Bucky's here, if they find out he's gonna come get him, and he's like, yeah, let him try, basically.
Yeah, it's free. They freeze Bucky. They put him on ice so they can figure it out. So sure he can figure it out. All right. And then we go into Doctor Strange,
which mostly takes place largely before the events of Civil War.
Yeah. Oh, sure. No, it doesn't, because if you listen to, and I only noticed it this time, if you listen to the conversation in the car,
they already declared at the time the movie was released, they declared it has absolutely nothing to do with War Machine.
Oh, is that right?
No, but what you gotta remember from Winter Soldier. Was it Winter Soldier?
No, they said the guy.
No, yeah, it was Winter Soldier. When they got the Hydra agent and they brought him to the roof, and he's like, the algorithm is supposed to point out people, and he says Stephen Strange. He says Stephen Strange's name in Winter Soldier.
Right, as the algorithm,
yeah, he does,
as a potential one-day threat.
But right. It doesn't say he's Doctor Strange yet, but it says Stephen.
Right.
And so that is more of an Easter egg than a fact. And then the thing where he has the conversation in the car where the dude is paralyzed, Kevin Feige came out a long time ago and was like, nope, nothing to do with War Machine. So James Rhodes.
Oh, that's crap then. Because why then pick something else for him to fix? Like, why would you do that? It actually makes more sense that we're in the same universe, and there's a 35-year-old colonel with that's paralyzed from the waist down. You think you can fix him? That makes more sense than just some random dude that but whatever. I'll believe you if that's what Feige says, but it's just lazy.
Man. I thought it was a big Easter egg, and then it's like, surprise, it's not.
But they said it was the dude from Iron Man.
They didn't.
Iron Man 2.
Oh, is that right?
The one, remember where Hammer, they got the guy in the suit, and then his armor went like,
right.
And it messed up the guy because he was trying to make the armors like Iron, like Tony Stark, but he couldn't get it right.
Right.
I won the first appearance of Sabra, which you can't see in my hand. I won Hulk 256.
Nice. That's on the hot list this week.
Yeah.
All right. So Doctor Strange. Stephen Strange is a great doctor. He's probably he's kind of got the same ego as kind of like Tony Stark, but inside the medicine field. He thinks he knows it all. We meet Christine, which was one time his girlfriend, but they're not together anymore, basically because of his ego, who he is. Kamaria says Doctor Strange is a personal favorite of mine. Yeah, it's also a favorite of mine too. It's a pretty dope movie. So one night he's going out and he gets into a nasty car wreck, which ends up shattering his hands. They kind of fix it a little bit, but not enough. He'll never be able to do medicine again. So at that point, he tries to figure out how to get it done. He spends all his money trying to go to different doctors and trying to figure out how to get it done, but nothing works until he finally hears about but he went to the doctor or something. He was in some place, right?
He was getting rehabbed, and the guy said, "I'll prove you wrong."
Yeah.
Remember, he says, a guy came in here and I thought he was dead, but then I saw him walking down the street. Right. He's like, "Oh yeah, right. There's no way that happened." He's like, "To prove you wrong, I'll go look. It's gonna take me a while to find the records, but to prove you wrong, it'll be worth it." Right. Then he finds the guy, and then
He finds the guy. He finds out where he has to go, and he goes to Carmitage. And he basically has to sit outside.
Gets his watch broken on the way.
Gets his watch broken, which becomes big for him throughout his whole thing.
His 2-movie journey.
He meets Mordo.
Right. True.
We see Mordo. Let's see if there's a picture of him here. But Mordo brings him to the house where he's supposed to learn his magic. But he goes inside actually, right? He goes inside.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets what's her face?
Wong. Oh no.
The ancient one.
No, the ancient one.
The ancient one. Sorry.
And she basically shows him all this stuff. He doesn't believe it, so they kick him out.
Right.
So then he has to sit outside for whatever amount of time. They finally let him back in. And then they're teaching him the ways, and he's trying to do the sling ring, and he sees the library, and the ancient one tells him a very important thing. He's like, well, how did you become a doctor? And he's like, well, I had to study and I had to do that. She's like, same thing here.
Right. So
his whole thing is like getting books and studying them, and he finds out about like certain people, like what's his name?
Caecilius.
Monster
Caecilius.
Yeah, he defected. All because
that actor's great too.
What was the story for his character?
He finds out that the ancient one is, what we find out at the end of the movie, that she's been drawing power from the dark realm the whole time, and basically saying, hey, you guys shouldn't do this, it's bad. But she's been doing it the whole time, and he feels like she's been lying to them. Yeah.
So there's very cool like this right here.
Mm-hmm.
The effects were
it gets very
amazing.
Inception in this one.
Yeah, very Inception, and it was just pretty cool to watch, especially when he was going through all the dimensions and all that other stuff.
I love how everything is about the mirror dimension, like constantly.
Yes.
Even on She-Hulk, Juan's like, now I could put him in the mirror dimension. It's like, no, you will not be doing that.
It's like the little waste place, like just throw him in the mirror dimension.
Right.
Be all right.
It's crazy too when you see Wong the first time in this movie. I mean, it's the same guy, but he has like no facial hair. He looks completely different. And his head shaved too.
He's much more devout to his cause at that time.
Yeah, big time.
So,
he's not drinking gin and tonics yet.
I think he was, but on the sneak.
Maybe you might be right.
Like, look at Wong in the background,
So the ancient one ends up getting killed. And Doctor Strange has to find a way to beat Caecilius. And he figures out that he's gonna go make a deal with Dormammu. And I thought it was brilliant. I wonder if there's a picture here. There he is with no hair. Wong.
Yep.
Oh wait, is that there?
Wrong.
No.
Other way. Keep going to the right. Yeah, past that one. Next one. There you
go. So he enters into the dark dimension. And he has the time stone, which is inside the Eye of Agamotto. And he basically says, Dormammu, I come to bargain.
Right.
And Dormammu just like kills him. And then he comes back again, Dormammu, I come to bargain. And he kills him. And they just show all these different scenes of different ways that Dormammu was just killing him and killing him and killing him. But what he did was he set the time stone to repeat whenever it got back to a certain point. And Dormammu himself, I thought it was hilarious. He was like, "What is this?"
yes.
But it was brilliant. So he makes a deal with Dormammu. He says, "I'll release of this as long as you go get your piece of crap minions that are doing stuff in your name and all that. If you take them out of here, I'll stop this." Blah blah blah. So Dormammu agrees. He goes back. Mordo and Doctor Strange fight everybody. Dormammu takes his people out. The day is saved. Stephen Strange becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. But Mordo has become a bad guy because he's disappointed in the fact that the Ancient One lied and that people were using the Dark Dimension because he felt like he was taught that you weren't supposed to. And end credit scene of this movie is him going after the guy that got healed that led to Doctor Strange finding Kamar-Taj, and he takes the magic out of him and makes him paralyzed again. And his famous quote is, "Too many sorcerers."
Yeah, I also think on some level, he assumed that when the Ancient One kind of gave it up, he was next in line, and then he gets
Yeah, I think that was an undertone.
He's like, what the hell? This should have been my job now, but yeah.
Definitely an undertone as well. That leads us into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume
I gotta
2.
tell you what, I watched this one today, I think, or no, maybe I watched it last night. And I remember seeing this movie the first time. I was like, all right, it wasn't as good as the first one, but whatever. There's always a drop off, especially after a movie you really love, right? And I remember thinking after watching this one the first time how depressing it was. But in watching it the second time, I gotta tell you what, it's better on a second watch. At least that was my feeling.
I mean, it's better on a second watch, but I was so emotional the first time I watched it. It was like exactly. I was watching it like exactly 10 years after my father passed away, and the whole movie is about fatherhood, and I'm like,
yes.
Oh my god,
oh man!
I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my friends, and they're like, Cliff, are you alright? I'm like, I'm fine.
Well, I think the first time I was more focused on the ego story than the Yondu story, and then this time I really the Yondu story popped off the screen for him. I'm like, oh, he's really the father through this whole thing. I completely. I don't know if I missed it or I just kind of didn't really think about it the first time, but it resonated this time as opposed to last time.
The feels in that part, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy. So this is basically Peter Quill and the Guardians in the beginning of the movie make a deal with I forget what that race is called, the golden skin people.
No, I don't remember either.
They're like, I forget what their name.
They're basically creating Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get rid of this monster. They do, but the deal was they would get Nebula in return. So they have Nebula, and they're on their way. But then, wait a minute, Rocket, his little dumb ass, he takes the little power cells. And Drax knows about it, and they're laughing about it, which ends up sending the whole armada of that race after them.
Yep.
So, and then Kurt Russell shows up and saves them, and it's revealed that he is Ego, the living planet. So the movies have taken a little departure from the comics, and Ego. Unless it's in the comics, I don't know if I missed that. I think
Ego's his dad in the comics, right? But then, like, recently they've said that what's his name, the king, that one king. But who knows? Like, they've gone back and forth, right?
Yeah. So, and then I also don't know about Ego ever being able to constitute himself like flesh, like a human, like that. But I guess they did that for the sense of we got Kurt Russell. We don't want just Kurt Russells on the face of a planet or something like that through the whole movie. So James Gunn came up with a clever way to get Kurt Russell to be a part of it.
Ego is also ridiculously powerful. So, like, having a physical manifestation or even taking over somebody's mind for the sake of that is fantastic.
And he said he was a what? A god or a celestial?
Celestial.
Which doesn't he say little g? Doesn't he say God but little g or something like that?
I think he said God-like, but you might be right with the little g.
Yeah. So he takes Peter lost his mother, so now he sees his father. He wants to go off with him. Kamari says, "I believe the Gold People are called the Sovereign." Thank you very much, Miss Carrington. Yes, they're called the Gold People are called the Sovereign.
I just love that her last name is Carrington. It just brings me back to Dynasty like so fast.
Nice.
So he takes Peter Quill, he takes Gamora, he takes Drax, and Rocket, and just Rocket stays behind, right?
Yeah,
Rocket stays behind,
and Nebula.
Yeah, you see that? Kamara says My mother's name is Alexis. We get that all the time.
I love it. I love it.
So to two separate storylines with that lead to Rocket and Yondu and Groot all being in one section in the prison, and then it leaves Peter Quill's on the planet with Ego. And Ego's basically been planting his seed in all of the planets in the universe. Like,
pun intended.
Pun intended. Literally planting his seed. And Peter Quill finally figures out by having a conversation that it was his father that put the cancer in her brain. And that
Well,
right
he
there
tells him.
Yeah, and that was just like, yo, what? And I felt Peter Quill at that point, like, what? And he just shot him in the face. Remember? He pulled out his blaster and he's like, I was like, that's how you respond to some shit like that.
I mean, yo, him and Iron Man.
Yeah,
Right.
Killed their moms. Died.
It is a good foreshadowing, right? For that in the future. I don't know if they intended it for that, but so they have a fight. The Guardians are fighting inside the planet. The funny scene where they try to get little baby Groot to go through the tunnels.
Yes.
And he's trying to teach him about the buttons. He's like no, not that
He literally
button.
just said that.
He's like, you got any tape? He's like, what do you mean we got any tape?
Well, I love Drax is like, would Scotch tape work? Yeah, Scotch tape will work. Yeah, I don't have any of that.
So it's really, and then when Peter and his father are fighting, he turns into like all these things. Like he turns into Pac-Man and all
Turns
the things
into
that he knows.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah. So
That was great.
fun. They end up defeating Ego, but Yondu is forced to sacrifice himself because he only has one suit that can hold oxygen, and he ends up getting as fast as he gets Peter Quill out of there as fast as he can, and gives Peter Quill his oxygen suit and his shield.
What?
And Yondu freezes in space.
One.
Kid's so dumb. So Yondu freezes in space. Peter Quill's crying and screaming like, no, because Yondu told him that he was like his dad and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. So pretty cool. And then and another thing that we missed. I'm sorry about all the jumping back and forth. Just doing it as I remember. We get Sylvester Stallone and the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
And Bing Rames. Bing Rames is in it too.
Yeah.
And Sandra Oh.
The whole group of Guardians that are just out there.
Yeah. So, if for people that don't know, this version, the Peter Quill version and the Star-Lord and all that, that's actually the second iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The original Guardians of the Galaxy were Starhawk, which was played by Sylvester Stallone, Charlie 13, which is played by Bing Rames,
Charlie
and Charlie 27. The Crystal guy, I don't know who the Crystal guy is, but he's there. Martinez. And I think there's another one. They don't have Vance Astro there. I was a big Vance Astro fan.
Yeah, I wonder how Stallone would feel about playing a role that it's him and a woman in the same body.
Oh, that is that character, isn't it?
Yeah, Starhawk and Alita. Same powers, one space.
Well, I gotta turn into a woman now. All right.
No, like who would be amazing?
You betrayed the code.
No, like, do you know what I think would be amazing as like Alita? If we used Sylvester Stallone, Bo Derek.
Wow.
Miley Cyrus, Jack. No, Larry, no. We're trying to make a quality film here.
So,
Well, yeah, couldn't you picture like Bo Derek be like he's such a brute sometimes.
so this movie ends. End credit scenes for this movie.
You forget Nebula and Gamora make up
Nebula
after having an epic fight.
up, and they do become sisters.
And they're gonna release him.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the Adam Warlock end credit scene where they said,
Yep.
"I shall call him Adam." And
That's right.
All right.
No,
And then that one is
didn't you say we're gonna call it him?
no.
No,
we'll
she says
call him
Adam.
Adam.
She said, "I think I'll call him Adam."
Good
Yeah.
enough. Whatever. Point is made.
Then we jump into Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah. My
So
other.
good.
I got like my two favorites of this whole section are Homecoming and Black Panther. And that's a pretty big feat.
I thought this was a really, really, really amazing Spider-Man movie.
It is.
No pun intended.
What I loved about this movie is they don't have to give us his origin anymore. Just get into the story. We all know what happened to him.
Yeah.
There's only one flaw in this film. I am not bothered by it. I wouldn't consider you're saying it's a flaw is heavy duty, right? But Iron Man is all over this movie, right? And like, so Spider-Man never really gets to come into his own in the Marvel universe. It's all through Tony Stark.
Yeah, but it was only for this movie. And then after seeing all three movies, you realize all three movies are the origin stories.
Well, and you also have to remember that this comes really on the tails of, well, at least for Spider-Man's story, it comes on the tail of Civil War. So you're getting that's the crossover.
The whole thing is but I'm saying all of it. Civil War too. Or this Spider-Man that we have in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's all through Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right? Now
he gives him the suit and all that.
Yeah, they tried very hard to course correct in the last movie, and fine, do what you will. But the only ding I have for this is that it's so much Iron Man, right? It's really like Peter doesn't get to stand on his own. Now, on the other hand, the plot does allow him to stand on his own because once he takes the suit away from him, Peter's got to rely on his own.
I think they correct that though. I think that was the point. You know what I mean? Like even Peter was thinking, "Oh, I can do everything through Iron Man." You know what I mean? I can do everything with Tony Stark. Let me call him all the time. Let me use all his stuff. So even Tony had to tell him, if you're not anything without this suit, then you don't need this suit. Yeah. And he ended up having to prove himself by the end of the movie. So this is a great movie by John. Who is it?
Scroll down. It should be right on that page. It's right there. You just gotta go by.
I gotta go over here. Wait.
I can say, scroll down a little bit. It should be right
John
there.
Watts.
John Watts.
John Watts. But it's in the homage as far as his teenage angst in the old like Breakfast Club type style movies from back in the days. We get to see him in high school. We get to see.
Larry, you're. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And Larry said, "Who was the talking head at the end of the film?" Also, Kamaria is right. Like it hits harder when we get to Endgame about Spider-Man being involved with Iron Man, but it's wonderful. I love it. I had a great time. I felt all the feels for all the movies. But on the other hand, Peter doesn't get to like enter the MCU on his own accord.
Riddle me this: does in this Spider-Man, because as we find out later, it's truncated.
Yes.
Does Peter ever know Uncle Ben?
He must, because he says, I can't do this to Aunt May, after everything she was
right, but
Uncle Ben.
Right, but does he? What I'm saying is I don't feel like Uncle Ben's part of his origin and his arc.
Correct. He's
especially
not,
after the last Spider-Man movie, right?
Right, because we learn in that last Spider-Man movie, it's her,
Right. So I'm almost wondering whether they're trying to supplant Iron Man as Uncle Ben early, so that when he dies in Endgame, that's his Ben moment before we truly get a Ben moment.
Right, and then we get the ultimate Ben moment.
Right.
Yeah. I always had thought that Tobey Maguire was Ben in this universe. That was always yeah. So
he had a piano bar.
He has the suit. So Iron Man gives it to him. He says you can keep it. So he goes around. He's being his friendly little neighborhood Spider-Man, but he's always calling Tony. Nobody ever calls him back. Happy checks on him every now and then to see how he's doing.
Yeah, to check on that Aunt May.
And Spider-Man gets into more angst than he should, especially with the boat scene where he's trying to do good because he found out through a bank robbery and all this other stuff about people with weapons. So he wants to stop it. And he ends up, the boat ends up splitting in half because of it. And it was a pretty dope scene where he's webbing it all together. And he's like, oh, I got this. And then he really doesn't have it. And then you see all these little bots come up.
Yo,
and then Iron Man. And when Tony Stark is like, oh, hi, Spider-Man.
Yo, why did Karen have to do him dirty and be like, congratulations, you're 98% successful? No, it's supposed to be 100%.
So he ends up that wasn't the thing that cost him the suit, though. What was the thing that cost him the suit?
The fact that he was doing stuff on his own.
Yeah, but the scene, when he got drowned in the water and then the Iron Man suit had to come and save him.
Yeah,
remember that?
It, right?
Yeah, and then he thought Tony wasn't in the suit because last time he wasn't in the suit.
Right.
But it ends up that Tony was in the suit and he comes out of it and he's like, I need that suit.
But so wasn't it this time? Wasn't it this ship, this ferry that Tony jumped out and was like, no.
No, I think it was when he almost died.
Oh my god, I gotta watch it again. I'm so upset.
Yeah, I think it was when he almost died, and everybody's like, "How the hell he's gonna get out of this?" And all of a sudden, the little iron suit comes down and and gets. Oh, you might be right. I don't know. Anyway, those scenes happen, and then he ends up getting into a suit, his original suit that we see for the first time, which is basically like a Scarlet Spider type suit with the hoodie and all that stuff. And Michael Keaton plays the Vulture.
Excellent.
Excellent performance. He runs with a crew that has been taking T'Chari stolen technology, and he has the Tinkerer with him, and he's making all these little weapons. And the Tinkerer makes him a Vulture suit that's amazing. But Spider-Man keeps foiling his conquests and his attempts. Now, Spider-Man. Peter Parker has a crush on the girl. Does anybody remember what the girl's name is?
Yeah, it's
MJ, but I can't remember. It's
no, it's not MJ.
No, you're right. It's not. She says it later. You're right. What is her name?
Yeah. But he likes this girl, and he's ended up taking her to the homecoming dance. Homecoming.
She's a main character in Spider-Man lore. God help me.
Is she a main character?
In Spider-Man lore? Yeah, she's Liz.
Liz. Okay. Yeah, Liz. So he goes to pick her up at the house, and come to find out, my jaw dropped.
Her character's name is Michelle.
Oh, it's Michelle.
No, you're talking about Mary Jane, but the first movie, it's Liz he has to crush on.
It is Liz. Liz, yeah.
And then we get to Mary Jane. Then we get to MJ, Michelle James or whatever.
But the scene where he's going to pick her up for the homecoming dance
is amazing.
The door flings open and it's Michael.
Right, and Michael Keaton already figured out what's going on.
And he goes in there, and I felt Peter Parker through the whole thing. The way he's just standing there, and he's just like not saying a word because he knows. Michael Keaton doesn't know he's Spider-Man, but he knows he's the Vulture.
Right. And Michael Keaton is slowly putting things together.
Yeah, and then they get to the scene where Ronaldo, you said is one of your favorite scenes where they're.
I love that scene. The tension is amazing.
Yeah. So
and the conversation that they're having without having the conversation is, pitch perfect.
He's like, "Where were you at? what are you doing?
Right.
And then Liz ends up going into the dance. He's like, I want to talk to Peter for a second. And then he pulls out the gun and he puts it on the thing and gives him the whole, I'll kill you and your family, Peter. The whole thing, blah blah blah. And it just, even though he's Spider-Man, he could easily be like,
Yeah,
and take care of the whole situation.
Try it.
Yeah, he could easily get out of that. He's terrified. He's
Well, you
terrified.
gotta remember too. I mean, he's Spider-Man, but he's Spider-Man year one, if you will, and he's a teenager in high school.
Yeah,
As much as he's got these powers, I don't think he fully trusts them yet.
yeah. So
But he
ends
doesn't
up
really
going-
trust them by the end of the, really to the end of his arc in these.
Mm-hmm. And then he goes into the dance, and then he has to leave the dance because he has to go face the Vulture. He fights the Vulture, ends up getting into a place where the whole building's falling in on him, and it's a classic comic from Amazing Spider-Man days where he finds all the strength because he's thinking about everybody, and he gets out of this amazing situation.
Yep.
And he goes after the Vulture, which I thought was an amazing thing with the plane, and because this is another key little Easter egg. Stark Tower has been sold, so Happy is getting everything out of Stark Tower. He's getting all the weapons, like Thor's belt, all this other stuff.
To who we don't know yet.
Yeah, and so the Vulture is gonna hijack the plane that leaves with all the stuff, and they have a fight. Spider-Man wins, and the Vulture goes to jail. He's approached by the Scorpion, the guy who plays the Scorpion in that universe, and he's like, "Oh, do you know who Spider-Man is? We can get him," and stuff like that. And he's like, "No, I don't know who he is." Blah blah blah. But basically keeps the secret identity, because of the fact that he saved his daughter and all the other stuff. He's got some respect for him.
Right. Well, and
Peter,
if anybody's taking him out, it's me. You save him for me.
Yeah, and then Peter talks to Tony Stark. Tony Stark is about to put him in the Avengers, have a big old press conference, and Peter's like, nah. He's like, I'm good. I don't really want to do that. It's too much for me right now. Shows him the Iron Spider suit that we'll see later on, future MCU. And then he leaves, and then Tony Stark says he can keep the suit. And the last scene is him putting on the suit, and Aunt May walks in and is like, what the
Right.
Which was great. And then
is that the same line at the end of both movies, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Peter does it in the second one. Yeah, okay.
Peter does it in the second one.
And that's that. Do you remember the end credit scenes for this movie?
I didn't watch one. Like I said, this is the only one I didn't watch this week, so I don't really remember.
I think one was the gym. It was a gym one, right?
Well, is it Thor?
Captain America.
Is it Thor and Strange with the
where he's
beer?
like, you got to learn patience.
Yeah, and it was Thor.
It's like you got to, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was Thor with a scene
with
from
Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah. Which leads us into one of my favorites.
Gotta be Ragnarok. Yeah, I was gonna say
Ragnarok. Now, Taika Waititi came in and changed the whole Thor landscape. Completely changed what Thor was about, what he was doing. He included the Incredible Hulk. He's took part of the Planet Hulk storyline, fitted in here, and this movie was just amazing to me. It was
gorgeous.
You can't believe it's the same guy who made Love and Thunder.
Yeah, you really can't, because this movie, it's almost a perfect movie in my opinion. Almost a perfect movie, you know. Thor. How's this movie start? Oh, Thor is in Surtur's dungeon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get information out of Surtur, blah blah blah. And he finally gets the information after a hilarious back and forth between them two. And an amazing scene where Thor is escaping out of there, and they play the music, like the rock music.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, come on, this is what we're talking about here. And it was just amazing. And he's escaping out, big monster coming after him, blah blah blah. Where does it go to after that?
He goes back to Asgard, and you find out Loki's been pretending to be Odin.
Yep.
Find out Loki's pretending to be Odin.
They go to search for Odin after they have their little thing.
Right.
Yeah,
And he's not there. It's just
Yeah.
a street corner.
Yep.
So Loki had put him in like a mental institution or something like that, and then they go
Yep.
to this mental institution, and the building's been torn down.
Right.
So they come to find out Odin is over. What is that called? Is that in the Netherlands or something like that? Somewhere out there? No,
I
it's
don't
not Netherlands. It's
remember.
in America, like Oklahoma, right? Because that's where New Asgard is.
No, New Asgard is near California.
Well, somewhere over
Thank
there.
you, Larry. That Thor 3. Oh, Thor 3 was an okay movie. Oh, wait, we're talking about Ragnarok. Oh.
They find Odin. He tells them he loves them both. He goes into the Odin Force, whatever, disappears.
I love how you just skipped over Doctor Strange being involved.
Right.
Doctor Strange pulls them right up because he's like, whoa, you're too powerful to be roaming around free,
You're right.
especially
You're
your
right.
brother. He goes, I found Odin for you. Here you guys go. Don't forget your umbrella, hammer in disguise,
Right.
and off you go.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
Loki has one of those great lines where he finally shows up. He's like, I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Yep.
That was great. My apologies on missing that part.
Yeah, that
So
was great.
Odin dies, and this releases Hela from her prison or whatever. And she shows
Yep.
up. She's played by Kate Blanchett, and I think an amazing job. She's also in possession of they don't really mention it too much, but it is a necro sword that she is in possession of. That's why she does all those crazy little things.
Right.
And they throw Mjolnir at her, and she cracks
Crushes
Mjolnir
it.
like a million pieces. And Thor calls Heimdall. They try to escape, but as they're fighting inside the Rainbow
Okay,
Bridge,
by the way, Loki calls Heimdall, which Thor immediately says is a mistake because
Right.
Hela starts fighting that, following them, and he starts fighting her on the way up.
Right. He's like, yeah, don't let her follow us to Asgard. Don't bring her home with us.
Right. She kicks their ass, and in the process knocks each of them out of the beam up to Asgard. So she goes up there to wreak havoc, and the two of them end up on Sakaar at different
Right.
times.
Mhm.
So like Loki's
And Heimdall's not even up there anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
The odds that Heimdall's ability can like send you anywhere in the freaking galaxy or the universe, but it sent them to the same planet at different times.
Right.
Don't
We have-
overthink it.
We have plot details. You know, we gotta
Oh my god, Kamari is so funny. All these little things. It's like Hela was ridiculous.
So Thor ends up getting captured, and he meets the Game Master, which happens to be our fan favorite,
Grandmaster.
The collector.
Grandmaster.
The Grandmaster. Yeah.
Grandmaster.
I wish they would have revealed that the two of them were related. That'd be great.
I'm
Well,
sure
if
they
you
will.
think of their look is almost identical, if you think about it,
They're looking
because they both have that on their chin.
Yeah, I'm sure that's coming. We do
And
get to
there's-
see like
and-
a pillar.
Who's the other one? There's another one they're related to that they've already revealed in the series. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. They reveal one of the pillars. Like you see on the pillar, you see Beta Ray Bill, you see Man Thing, and you see like the winners of previous contests. Hilarious scenes where Thor's meeting the Grandmaster, and I'm not gonna explain
He
every
melts
scene,
his
but
cousin.
He melts his cousin. There's like so many hilarious things. But he's been called. The Grandmaster tells Thor he has to fight the champion. And so Thor is put in an arena to fight the champion. He meets Korg previously in the weapons thing, and Korg is played by Taika Waititi as well. Which Korg
And
is
you
hilarious.
forgot he's captured by Valkyrie, and that's why he has to go.
Yes, Tessa Thompson makes her introduction as Valkyrie. She catches him in a grand fashion. I thought it was mad cool how she catches him, even though she's drinking a little bit. She's just like,
A little
whatever.
bit.
Yeah. And Thor finds out she's from Asgard and he wants help and all that, but she's not trying to help him just yet. He gets into the arena, and come to find out, we find out where the Hulk was jettisoned from Age of Ultron. He was jettisoned to Scar, and he breaks into the arena in a grand fashion. And it is hilarious because Thor's like, yes, we know each other from work. But Hulk is just like, nah. Like, Hulk remembers him, but he just wants to beat the crap out of him. So he's like, yeah, we're going to
No
do this.
Banner.
Yeah. And so they fight. And then Thor actually wins, but is cheated out of his fight. He's electrocuted. And the Hulk comes down, lays the smack down, knocks him out. They come to find out that Hulk has been there for like 2 years, and he's just been catching wreck, living luxury up in his little penthouse apartment, just chilling. And then Thor and the Hulk develop I thought was a great relationship. I thought it was a great relationship that they were developing. When Hulk got upset when they were yelling at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "That's why everybody hates you." Blah blah blah. And he was just like, like a little kid.
I just get angry all the time.
Yeah, you're sorry. So they become good friends, and Thor's figuring out a way. And Hulk ends up telling him about the ship that crashed him here. That Thor thinks that's the way his way out. So they go to find the ship. Come to find out the ship doesn't work anymore, so they need to steal the ship.
No, Hulk breaks it.
Did he break
Remember,
it?
he finds it, and then he catches up with him and destroys it, basically getting on. And then he turns into Banner.
And then correct.
Because he sees Black Widow
Yeah,
on
Right.
the monitor, which was touching.
And Hulk doesn't want to be Banner anymore, so he's like hitting himself in the face to stay angry, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. And they end up teaming up with Valkyrie to basically go fight Hela. They find a ship. They go up through the hole.
the orgy.
The Devil's Anus.
The Devil's Anus. They free Loki. They make Loki a part of the team as well. But Thor doesn't trust him with anything, as you shouldn't trust Loki with anything.
What's the game they play? I just watched it today too, where Get Help. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't want to play Get Help.
So they go through the Devil's Anus. They end up at Asgard, right?
Yep.
Where they fight Hela.
Yep.
And Thor fights him. He becomes the true Odin's son. He gets stabbed in the eye, which is crazy. He loses an eye. Hulk and them are fighting. It's hilarious because Banner falls down, falls flat on the Rainbow Bridge, and breaks every bone in his body. But then the Hulk comes up, which is pretty funny.
So
And
Hulk spent 930 days in Sakaar, and because Sakaar, the time flow in Sakaar is faster, it is the equivalent of 2.54 years that he spent there.
yeah,
I think the Grand Champion says something like that too, doesn't he?
Hulk was on Sakaar for nearly 300,000 years.
Wow.
Just
No, but yeah, the Grand Champion says something like that when they first meet. He's like, I'm actually only 27 or something like that, but because of time, whatever, I look so good, don't I, or whatever?
Holy cow.
So they fight Hela. They realize the only way they can defeat Hela is by releasing Ragnarok. They don't want to destroy
Creating
Asgard.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, creating Ragnarok, and they realize that Asgard is not a place; it's a people.
Oh, what a beautiful speech. But Thor has to realize that he has to master the thunder and the lightning through himself.
Yes, and that Mjolnir.
He's not a god of hammers.
Yeah, he's not a god of hammers. So Surtur comes out, and he's catching wreck. And here comes Hulk he's trying to fight Surtur.
And he's
he's
no!
like, no, Hulk, we gotta go. And he's like, but monster. I thought that was hilarious. And so they get out of there. Surtur destroys Asgard. They got a ship full of people. And Asgard blows up. Very tasteless joke though from Korg. I thought at that moment with the whole planet blowing up and all that shit. I was just like, that's just a little too much. But anyways, Taika Waititi. So and then they go find another place. They're gonna go to Earth. End the movie. End credit scene is Thor and Loki talking, and then the big Thanos ship floats up,
Yep.
and dun 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 dun, and that's the end of the movie.
Which brings us straight to. Oh wait, no, it doesn't bring us straight to anything because
No, it doesn't go straight to.
Yeah.
Leading to our last one, we're going to talk about tonight is Black Panther.
Just finished a couple hours ago.
How dare it only be a 7.3 on IMDb? This is one of the most fantastic movies ever.
Indeed. Directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Chadwick Boseman, and a whole plethora of dope actors and actresses that bring the Black Panther mythology to life. We get to see Wakanda, which is amazing. And, you know, we never thought Wakanda would really come to life. I never thought it would come to life like that on film and MCU and all that. But it's like a real place now. We get to see the whole tribal factors that are going on in Wakanda. T'Challa is the king.
They have a council.
And the beginning of the movie starts where he's going to help, as you see right here in the trailer. He's going to, what's her name? Is it Nakia?
Yeah.
Nakia, yeah.
Nakia. He goes to help her. She's like, I don't need any help and whatever. And the funny line from Okoye is like, don't freeze. So I never freeze. And he goes down and he helps her out and they defeat that. And then they're realizing that Wakanda vibranium is being taken out of Wakanda, which leads to them finding out about what's this guy's Claw, Ulysses Claw.
And Circus is amazing in this movie for the little time he's in it.
Yep.
Yeah. And I find out that he's working with Killmonger, who's played by
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan played a phenomenal character. And Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger is.
You know, Larry, you keep saying it's late on action, but I think you need to give it a rewatch.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot of action in that movie.
Especially towards the end.
There was a lot of action in this movie.
I mean, this movie is like a giant list. It's just like a global studies session. This movie is like, you want to learn about right to power? Let's tell you all about right to power.
I'll say this: what this movie did well, with the fight scene at the end, that Venom didn't do well. Venom had its own problems anyway, but you got two black heroes fighting, you know, that you can't tell the difference between. This one, they made a pretty pointed direction of making him purple and Killmonger gold, even though they're both wearing black. You can tell who's who.
Yeah. They did. Although that end falling scene reminded me a lot of Spider-Man 3. I was like,
fair. It's fair.
I was like, yo, this looks a lot like Spider-Man 3, where he's falling down fighting Venom. But
now, did Chadwick Boseman know he had cancer in this movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's some lines in it in the rewatch where you're watching and going, he's basically, he knows he's dying, and he acts the shit out of it. Pardon my language, but and you watch it, you're like, it resonates more if you know that what happens to him, you know, in real life later.
Marvel makes statements like they didn't know, but you obviously have to get a physical. You have to get a physical, and you have to be insured for movies to do these big budget movies.
I believe when he did the physical and the insurance and everything, it was before he knew, and he was very private about it. Everyone talks about how they didn't know. I think he's like, okay, I passed the physical, let's roll, and then that was it. Just was like, I signed a multi-movie contract, we're doing it, and just went in. Which
would be smart on his part, very smart.
Look, he left a wonderful, small but wonderful legacy.
So Killmonger is revealed to be the son of the brother of T'Challa's father. That's a long sentence.
Yep.
So he's coming back to reclaim what's rightfully his because he saw well, he didn't see, but his father was killed back in the days. Some whole Wakanda spy stuff that went wrong. So now he's here to claim what he is, and he challenges T'Challa to a fight, which we see early in the movie, the whole ritual of the fight, because M'Baku is challenging T'Challa for the right to be king of Wakanda.
Because he's the
And-
leader of another tribe.
Right, he's the leader of another
And-
tribe that does not use vibranium and doesn't want nothing to do with all that stuff. And he ends up
Lives in the
losing to
mountains.
yeah, they live in the mountains. He ends up losing to T'Challa. So now Killmonger comes in and challenges him to the same thing
Because of blood.
because of blood, and he beats the piss out of T'Challa
In
my
front of the
opinion.
council members.
In front of everyone. The famous line, "This is your king."
Yeah.
Yep.
The famous line, and then throws T'Challa over the cliff, where everybody's
is
like, "Oh
important.
snap!"
It is important that you know that every single thing that he says at the time he's beating his ass is the truth, because he is hammering home that he has every right to this and he is taking it.
Exactly.
It's
So-
fantastic and terrible and wonderful.
Yeah. So he becomes king of Wakanda, which means that he ends up taking the lotus flower. He becomes the Black Panther. He has a little vision of his dad, and he talks with his dad. And then he orders all the flowers to be burnt.
Yep.
But Shuri manages to go in and steal one and
I
save
thought
one.
Nakia rescued one.
Or was it Nakia?
It was
Was it
Nakia.
Nakia? Sure.
Yeah.
But so Nakia ends up saving one. So they having to escape because Killmonger's now, he wants to put weapons in all the hands of all these people all across the world. He's got all these plans moving around. So the Queen and Shuri and Nakia are going to M'Baku because they want to have him become the next Black Panther. So they help the people, which leads to a hilarious scene where they're all talking. And then when Ross starts talking, they're all like, "Ho!" And
Yeah.
every time he says something, they're like, "Ho, ho!" Which is great.
You say another
Um,
word and I'll feed you to my children.
Yeah.
I'm just
So
a
they're
little
saying all
vegetarian.
this stuff, and they offer him the thing to become Black Panther, which he could have took, but he didn't. And he's like, "I got to show you something," basically. And it comes to find out they've rescued T'Challa, and
Put him on
he's-
ice.
They put him on ice to freeze any process, and they basically revive him. He has a talk with the father in the astral plane, and he basically yells at his pilot, "You did wrong," and now he has to fix the wrongs of what his father did. Blah blah blah. So then he goes back, and he has to fight Killmonger. The Dora Milaje are there. They're another group that's introduced, a group of women fighters that fight for Wakanda. They're kind of like the security team.
And we met them in Civil War, by the way.
Yes. Not in all their glory, though.
No, but just a little taste.
Yeah.
Because
just a
he
little
was like,
bit.
"Oh, I would love
move,
to see you fight
move
Black
or
Widow."
you will be moved."
Yeah.
And then the child's like, as much as I would like to see this. But they all end up fighting. It's all out war. Killmonger versus Black Panther, and then all the other forces fighting outside of that to stop to stop the vibranium from going all over. Black Panther defeats Killmonger. They end up being on the cliff. He wants to see the sunrise. Black Panther allows him to see the sunrise. Black Panther offers to save him,
Mhm.
that he could bring him back, but he's like, "No, I don't want to be saved. I just want to see the sunset." Blah blah blah. And T'Challa allows him to do that, and T'Challa ends up making the decision that they will no longer be a secret nation, that they will help the world. They will give them their technology, their vibranium. They'll help the world. Blah blah blah. He opens a little, I guess like a Boys and Girls Club, Wakanda Boys and Girls Club or something, in the hometown of where Killmonger grew up, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep.
And end credit scene is lead up to Infinity War, correct? One was
I
the
don't
White
remember
Wolf.
what the end credit scene was.
It's the White
Oh,
Wolf.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Bucky,
yeah.
Bucky Barnes.
Yeah.
And then the other one I think was an Infinity War thing. I believe. I'm not sure.
I think that's the only
Um,
one.
Yeah. So that is part 1.
Yeah, we got a lot more movies to follow after that.
Yeah, so this was pretty cool. Like those movies right there, that's banger after banger after banger, honestly. Like you're ready, you know what I mean? After Black Panther, you're ready for Infinity War. Cuz
He addresses the UN in the second closer, where he says we will build bridges. Remember all that?
Yeah. And that was pretty powerful. Ended up being $1 billion movie to end that part. And then when we come back, we are jumping into Avengers Infinity War, which to me is an amazing. Hold on, let me get us back to like full screen, bro. Where is it, bro?
There's so much. There's so much I enjoy about Infinity War. Some people argue Infinity War might even be better than Endgame.
It's debatable.
And for me, they're almost one movie because in my mind it's one project, right?
Infinity War just hits you with those blows, like
right. But Infinity War just comes in. Infinity War does multiple things and does them well. You know, assembling these heroes, like getting their stories told. Like everyone's in their own little, like everyone's in mission mode. Like Tony's up in space with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and encountering the Guardians. The Guardians like, we can't let Thanos get any more stones, right?
Yeah.
And then and then everyone's like, yo, we gotta protect Vision. Everyone on Earth is like, we gotta protect Vision. We gotta get to Wakanda. Like, we gotta do whatever we can.
Yeah. And then that ending.
And Thor is on his own mission to get a new hammer, to get a new weapon.
Listen, the Russos did their thing, man.
They really did.
The Russos did their thing.
What am I saying? We can't get into that movie, but I obviously I think very highly of it.
All right. So for everybody that's watching, we want to thank you for sticking with us through this whole thing. If you're watching it on the rewind, thank you for watching it on the rewind. Next week, we will be doing MCU Phase 3 Part 2 with the last 5 movies that we have in that section. Tomorrow we'll be doing the keys of the week. You guys down for keys of the week? Anybody down for the keys of the week?
I should be able to. Depends on what time.
I should be able to. I'm giving a class. I'm giving a class on zero suicide, and then right after that, we'll just jump right into keys of the week.
Nice.
Oh my god. Sorry, I have to go through that. But I'm sure they need you.
It's good. It's good work. It's good work.
Yeah, we'll do keys of the week tomorrow. So at 8 p.m. I think I might do like 7:30 tomorrow. Because I gotta be working the next day and going to sleep.
I like how you're like, we'll do keys of the week. We'll do it at 7:30. So really, I'll have zero recovery time.
Maybe we'll even do it at like 7 o'clock. I don't know. I'll let you guys know tomorrow.
7 o'clock. I'll be like, bye everyone, and remember, the power is yours. Ask the right questions. Save a life. Cut. All right, keys of the week.
What time are you finished with that?
Like 7 o'clock, exactly.
Okay, so then maybe like 7:30. Then we'll do like 7:30. I give you a little 25 minutes to
right, like a break. Like let me use the bathroom. Let me like compose myself.
Yo, good luck, Larry. He says it's a good show. Kamara is giving us props and the keys.
Thank you.
So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night.
Larry.
Around 7:30, we'll do the keys of the week, what books you should buy for this new week that are phenomenal. So remember, if you have not yet, please go to our YouTube channel. If you're not watching on our YouTube channel already, click the subscribe button. We're trying to get these subscribers up. We're also on the Alternativerse page right now. This is the first time we're actually streaming live to the Alternativerse page.
Nice.
Which will mean that we will have a lot more giveaways and live like auctions and stuff, because I know Anthony really wants to get those things going, which would be super duper fun. Remember that we're also on TikTok. We're also on Instagram for little short goodies. You can follow Cliff on Instagram at CliffNY. Green Shirt Guy, what's your Instagram?
Poppy Ray Ray, PAPI REI REI.
You can follow him on Instagram.
And don't forget your Patreon.
I have a Patreon as well.
And he also has a
Come
Patreon.
and join.
Yes.
Fun stuff
And,
on there.
and also a reminder that next Sunday. Oh, we'll see if we'll still be able to do it. But I have the Newburgh Toy Show next Sunday.
The
Oh, nice.
25th.
Yeah. So that ends at like 3, right? 3 or 4.
I mean, we're still young, you know. We don't
It's
need
the same
sleep.
as last time. It was
Yeah.
like, it was like
I have
4 o'clock.
I have off the next day, so it's okay. We can do a late show.
Why do you have off the next day?
It's a Jewish holiday, Monday and Tuesday.
Damn, I only get federal holidays.
So yeah, we'll definitely be back. Newburgh Toy Show this Sunday. Maybe we can get a live during the week or something. We can talk to Angelo, get him on here so we can support that as well. Council of Comics will be there selling comic books.
That's
so,
right.
So will our Pokemon Bros, the HV Poke Twins 845. They'll be there as well. All right. So okay. From the Council of Comics, Cliff NY, SVR 845, Green Shirt Guy. We'll check y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.